Hey everybody, this is Johnny Wu here. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the understanding distribution and kind of like a overall look at the distribution channels and what to expect, so you have an understanding how to deal with distribution part of the deal. If my voice is a little bit too low, let me know. I turn my volume as high as can here, so hopefully that you guys hear me clear enough. So this is me. Hi. We have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to do my best to go through them as quick as I can. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to post your question right away. And it takes about 20 to 30 seconds before I can see them posted on YouTube. So this way, I'll be happy to answer them as much as I can. So we can get it started. So a little bit quickly about my background. I'm a filmmaker. I've been making movies since 1998. My first feature film, The Rapture, got distributed in 2007, and since then I've been having the fortunate enough to distribute other feature films. They've been sold worldwide, and I got to know a lot of different distributors and sales agents. Hey Tyler, glad that you can hear me good. And that has been one of the things that I learned a lot from learning through the sales agent and distributors, that filmmaking, it's a process that you don't finish until you get it sold, and you still have to work your hard in the best way to continue on the process. So we're gonna go through this whole, we have a bunch of PowerPoint with me talking in the background. You're welcome to jot down your information, or just keep this link so you can use it in the future when you come back to learn more. Obviously, once it's over, the video will be still on YouTube, so you can watch as much as you want. I'm using the live program called the Live Air Action from TerraDeck. This is a free software that you can actually use multiple cameras and stream to YouTube or Facebook. Unfortunately, I cannot do both. Otherwise, I'll be happy to have it in both sections, but this doesn't do that. I'm actually using the iPad Pro to stream it out. It is connected to a USB-C hub and an Ethernet cable connected to that. So here's the top 5 distribution myth that people think about. Hey Wayne, so a lot of people think about distribution is something like once you had the movie made, people will come and watch the movie, and that is not so. And when you have a movie made, you need to be able to understand what is you need to do to get it out there. Because when you think about, say, well, I build it, I made the movie, I'm very sure that everybody's going to see it, and I'm just going to post it on YouTube whatsoever, and you're expecting people to watch it, that's not going to be the case, because some people don't know about your movie, and they will not know anything about how to reach out to you. Or you submitted to a film festival, and they said, okay, I'm done. I already submitted to this festival, and it's their job to make the buzz for people to come to see my movie. And this is not so. Like I mentioned before, a festival job is to make money through promoting the quality of your film. So the more good films they can show in their festival, the more money they can make in for their festival. So if you want to have people to come see your movie at the festival, you have to do your legwork in promoting out there. So that's actually a very important part of the thing. And when you have your movie represented by sales agent, the distributors or sales agent or buyer, what we call them, they will look for it, and they want to see your movie, and based on the quality and the content, they will decide whether they want it or not. So it is not because you build it and you expect that to be sold. It's not going to happen like that. You just have to do your legwork to make it happen. And the other thing about it is the genre. Genre is very important. Well, I think the screen, it's very blurry on the screen, but I'm not sure what happened there. So the genre of the movie is very important, because there is a lot of different type of genre that can make quick money, or rather get sold quicker. Really, not saying that any movie is not good, but there's certain type of movie that certain genres can sold quicker than other genres. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later. So yeah, it does matter about the genre. If you make a dramatic or romantic comedy or drama, you need to have some kind of a celebrity involved. Otherwise, it's not going to go then much further than what you have. The third myth in distribution is about, you don't think about distribution until the movie is done. And that's not quite so. Usually as a producer, you should start thinking about distribution part of it before you actually start planning about the production of your movie. For example, if you think about doing theatrical release or you want to do distribution to a certain part, you might want to think about shooting 4K because it have a better quality, and when you release in distribution and so on, it should be better quality to do it. Hey Nick and Midnight Movie Pots, which I don't know who you are, but hey both of you guys. So that's something you had to think about. And before you actually shoot a movie, think about the format you want to go for. So you want to go theatrical release, then obviously it's good to have considering about having it in 4K and up, so you have a better quality to project it and so on and so on. Doesn't mean that 1080 doesn't work. Yeah, it does work, but sometimes the buyers will say to you, ask you first question would be, was it shot in HD, was it shot in 4K, or what kind of format was it shot in on? If you had HDR, make better. Hey Terry, hey Jeremy. Wow, all my friends are online. Thank you for listening. So the other thing about myth is a lot of people think about creating a buzz for a film is very expensive, which is not true. Sometimes you can do a lot in this world we are in right now in social media. Basically, you can use social media to promote your movie, your project, and when you get to creating a good buzz, a buyer or distributor will say, "Oh my God, this movie claimed to be great because everybody wants it. So maybe we should pick it up and represent it and get it out there." So that's always a good thing to think about and plan. I'm not sure if you guys heard about a movie called Monsters. It's about two filmmakers did it. Kind of have a script, but mostly their dialects are improv. They travel almost every countries and shot in Mexico and a couple other different countries. It did really well. It made a lot of money back. Back then was MySpace was really popular, so they did a lot of buzz by creating a word of mouth advertising through MySpace. And hey Vince, and make a lot of buzz, and distributor also wanted it, especially when everybody that they submitted to distribution opportunities, they all turned them down. But MySpace, because of the buzz they've created, a distributor picked it up and actually did well. Check it out. The name is called Monsters. I think right now it's on Netflix or Amazon that you can watch it for free. The other very important thing about is trailer. When you give a movie to a buyer or distributors, sometimes they don't have time to watch the whole movie, and sometimes they will pick it up your movie because of your trailer. So there's one thing said about this friend of mine has said about is that he had met a lot of distributors before in the past, and usually he sold his movie because he got a good trailer representing the movie. And the movie can be the worst movie or the bad movie at all, but if you really put together good trailers, the buyer do not have time to watch your movie, and they will just pick it up based on the trailer and get it in there. So don't consider as something bad. It's just something that you want to consider eventually. That will help best. I'm not sure why the screen. Are you guys seeing the screen good for the text wise, or they are like pixelated? Hopefully it's not pixelated, because I'm seeing here pixelated. I'm not sure why. Maybe now I'm streaming like the same way before. Okay, the genres that works, it's actually below there. So you can see there is the number one selling genre right now in the market is action adventure type of movies. So they also said that if your movie have a lot of spaceship related fight or spaceship fighting type of movies, that kind of genre gets sold fairly quickly. A drama romantic comedy short film. Okay. Blurry too, huh? Yeah. So it depends on your Wi-Fi signals, and I'm having problem here, I guess, too. Well, good thing about it is what I'm saying here is going to be you can do your best to figure that out. At least the first couple of frames is clear, so you can actually roll back a little bit for that. So about the drama, comedy, and romantic films, they are harder to sell if you don't have any celebrity involved attached to your film. They are sellable. They're easy to get out there once you have a celebrity participating in your feature film, and those are easy to get out there because of that perspective. It's harder to sell a romantic drama with no name attached. Hey Alex, thanks for watching. So the other another genre that most buyers and distributors will be looking for, okay, that's good, is horror and thriller films. So there's a difference. You can make a horror film, a thriller suspense film, but not a slasher films. The reason why is very simple. Anybody, any buyers, any distributors, or any territories, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, they can make their own slasher film for under $5,000. You can sell to Japan, Korea, India, Taiwan, and Europe, etc., and they can easily make their own slasher film because it's so simple to do. So they don't want to spend money to buy your film, but rather than they can buy something that it's harder. So horror film, thriller film is a little bit better than slasher film. So just keep that in mind. The other genre that sell really well are basically in children films, film that the mom and dad will actually take the kids to see or rent a movie to see. Very good example, the recent rental on-demand film called Troll World. That was came out like for what? For rental, $19.99 for rental. It is really, really well. Just not only because we are all staying at home right now, at the same time, it's a film that the whole family can watch together. So that's something you have to think about. If a film like that can work really well. And without saying, documentary still works really well. A lot of buyers or distributors are still looking for documentaries. In fact, the one that I'm working with a lot in the past are still a very good friend of mine, which I'm going to talk about him later. He also represents documentaries, and he said this is one of the genre that probably is the quickest one to get it out there, because of the story is document based. So it's actually pretty good. The final one, genre, it's not really a genre, it's more about a niche type of film. So there's certain type of audience for every type of movie. So if you make a Christian film, you could have a lot of Christian, the Christian community will be interested in buying it. If you might make a groundhound films type of film or B-rated film, you have a following for that. So that's always a consideration for that if you're into that kind of a market. So we're going to go into the next slide. So there's two types of distribution. One is the traditional method of the market, and we can talk about that, and then we'll talk about the new, which is called the new media market, which is more about the video on demand and so on. Again, everything I'm saying here is all like overall view, so it's not very concrete and not into it because there's a lot to cover, and I'm not going to be able to go through the whole thing within an hour. So I'm doing my best to give you the idea here. My suggestion later is maybe talk to a sales agent or talk to somebody, which I recommend a few people they can meet up with and check with, or talk to an attorney for that. So traditional distribution market is basically a sales agent or a distributor seller to different market or territories. There's a lot of territories, which I'm going to show you the listing shortly. And how to get to those kind of the territories are very simple. You can either do sales distribution, basically you take your film to different film markets and so on, or you can have a sales agent, a distributor to carry your movie to film markets and so on. Here's a little different thing about sales agent distributors. There's really not much a difference nowadays. It used to be the sales agent would be the middleman between you and the buyer. Now distributor are almost the same thing. They actually can distributor is actually a little bit more in the sense of they not only they distribute the movie to theatrical release, or they can distribute movie under their brand name into Blu-ray DVD. They also sell it to different territories. So in current situation we are now, a lot of sales agents have decided to go into that route, whereas they can be actually carrying your movie, sell it to buyers on different territories. At the same time, they actually distribute your movie into video demand and so on and so on. So there's a lot of different ways that they're doing. So because the market is different now, and so there's a lot of new way of working. So you got to keep that in mind. So the next slide will give you an idea about the different territories available. Let's see if I can find my list. Uh-oh. I don't see my list here. I did not import my list. Give me a minute. I lost my list. Yep, I did not put it in there. So my bad. There you go. So here's the different territories. Basically speaking, each country is a territory of that way we call it. So a country, for example, in the list you see right now, you have Africa, you have Australia, New Zealand, Baltic, Benelux, Brazil, Brunei, Bulgaria, Cambodia, and so on and so on and so on. Ha, gee, thanks, Tyler. Central Asia, for example. So each territory, they can go and buy your movie per certain type of license or rights. They can buy your movie for theatrical release. They can buy your movie for video on demand release in their country, or TV release, or DVD Blu-ray release, and so on, and so on, or subscription-based release, and so on and so on and so on. So that is something you can think about. So you can see in the market, in the traditional market, is a sales agent or a distributor sell your movie to these territories, and they have them to give an offer about your movie. So for example, you have a movie made and Africa really likes it, and so they will give you an offer to your sales agent or distributor, say, I'll buy your movie for X amount of money, $5,000. And your sales agent distributor can come back to you and say, hey, Johnny, Africa is interested in your movie for $5,000. You want to take it or not? You can either say yes or no. Now think about this a little bit about what I'm saying here, because later on I'm going to explain to you why it's so important understanding this market, because when you deal with distributors or sales agent, you have to think about all the expenses that they can incur to promote your movie. So you have to think about the part, okay? So I know for a fact Thailand may buy your movie for $800 to $1,000. I don't think they will ever go more than $3,000 because unless you have a lot of celebrity involved, they may spend a lot of money. But sometimes that's hard to do because Thailand is a small country or territory. Hong Kong can sell. Japan usually buy movie in a very higher rank amount. You can get an independent film. There's a friend of mine who shot all 16mm films back in 2007. He got a distributor to sold to Japan for I think $20,000. So that's potential. So again, it's all about the quality and everything else do. Yes, the certain genre or topic do better on certain territory. That is very correct. You most of the time, like I said earlier in my previous listing of the genres, the action and adventure films are almost everywhere you go to can be sold to. Any territory will be interested because it's a new universal language of action. So those are easy to sell. If you have a comedy that's more about comedy-wise, and the comedy is more American comedy or dark humor comedy, you're going to have a hard time selling that in the Asia country because it's going to be hard to translate those to that language. Midnight Movie Pass asks, when trying to go with non-English market, how do you subtitle? That's not our job. That's a distributor's job. They actually, what they do is they're going to ask you for a bunch of requests. The sales agent or the distributor asks you for the finish your movie, what do you call this? Closed caption of your movie. So you submit that in there. They always they ask you for your script. You submit that in, and a bunch of different other stuff. Also all the different waivers and deal memos that you sign with cast and crew. Make sure you have that in. And then they will include your closed caption to the territory, so they can either put out as subtitles on the bottom, or they have somebody to translate that to different languages, or they have your movie dubbed to different languages. So that's something that they would do. Sometimes they pass the cost back to you, to your sales agent or distributors. Sometimes they eat the cost, but then they'll give you less money. So you got to think about this. There's a lot of background work, between the distributors and the buyer. They're going to do a lot to negotiate. So eventually, at the end, you either get less money or you get less money. So you got to keep that in mind, that perspective. So where's Canada? That's a very good question. I think I missed that part, but Canada should be in there. And yeah, Canada should be in there. I missed it. There's only an example of the territories. There's a lot more. I mean, there's also missing Panama. There's also missing a bunch of different countries there. So keep that in mind. Sometimes they also classify them or group them into what do you call this? Territory like North America, South America, Central America, Asia, Europe, Southeast Asia, Central Asia, and so on and so on. So you gotta, so yeah. So if my listing here missing, it doesn't mean that they don't exist, but there is there. I just didn't have them included. It's a huge list. I had to compile, do 2 different versions. I missed a few things, so that's my bad. All right, so we're gonna go to the next slide about how distributor sales agent work. Let me see if I got that in there somewhere. There you go. So the first thing to do is you had to do your research about which sales agent or which distributors. I'm gonna call them all together as a sales agent now because it just makes me easier to make the wording so shorter for me to pronounce. So when you looking for somebody to represent your movie, you can do it a couple of ways. You can ask for different friends of yours who knows of different sales agent or distributors and ask for their references. Or you can do a research like going to American Film Market, Hong Kong Film Market website, and check out all the different distributors and sales agent that's listed there. And then you simply, or you can just go to different website, streaming website like Netflix, Amazon. When you play the movie, you see the first titling distributor title name like Ammo Content, High Octane, Maverick, etc., etc. You just jot down the information and then you just email them, submit your film to them for them to review it. So they review your film movie and then if they like it, they will reply back to you. If they don't like it, you will never hear anything from them at all. So, and you don't expect them to reply to you within a couple of weeks. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 or 4 weeks to get a reply. And sometimes you may have to make a second email to follow up. So who knows? So once they review it, they like it, they will try to talk to you and then send you a strategic plan or just send you an agreement right away. So there's different type of rights. You have to make sure on the agreement, theatrical, non-theatrical release, airlines, ships, cruise ships, home entertainment media, and television. So when you read through the agreements, you want to make sure all this are spelled clearly and there's no misunderstanding. I have read so many agreements from so many distributors, and sometimes it makes me laugh because they have one point counter against each other from another clause they have later on, and it makes it very, very complicated in the sense of how to actually read them correctly. So when you get all this information, you need to read them as much as you can, and make sure that you don't get taken advantage of. And there's a lot of time, a lot of sales agents will do that because they want to make money. Again, think about it this way. There are people who use your movie to make money for themselves. So you gotta have to think of that perspective and understand that works. All right, so we go to the next slide, number 6. Hopefully that works. So how do you select a good sales agent distributor? When you talk to them via email, I would recommend you also talk to them over the phone, listen to them, and talk to them. And always remember, they are like sales agent. Imagine you going to a car car dealership and trying to buy a car, either a used car or new car. And imagine the sales agent the salesperson trying to sell you the car and trying to sell you the best car they have available or this packaging, that packaging. You have to think about it that way. They are going to try to use your movie to promote their business and make them money through your movie. So if your movie is good and they want to represent it because they know there is an outlet, then they will use that chance to sell it. At the same time, give me a minute, Vicky. At the same time, they will actually inflate everything that they say to you, exaggerate as much as they can, so that you will sign up with them. So this is always I say that only believe 50% what's coming out from their mouth. This way you don't have to get burned so quickly. Vicky asks, can you work with several sales agents at the same time? Technically speaking, no. When you can work with one sales agent or distributor as exclusive, but sometimes they will let you, if you're short films, you have a chance to actually can work with several other non-exclusive opportunities. And that's one thing that you can negotiate. Sometimes you can talk to the feature film distributor and say, hey, you know what, I only want to sign with you for 1 year because I don't know whether or not you can pull it off. So I want to sign with you 1 year and then go. So that may happen. Or you can say to them, the problem is this. Now that they want to do a non-exclusive because it's harder for them to sell. Just think about it. They go to the same film markets. They go to Hong Kong film market, American film market, Cannes film market, and they reach out to the same buyers, territories like everybody else. So if 3 people are representing your movie, you're going to have an issue of which one of them will be give you the best opportunities. So let's say 3 of these sales agents representing you as non-exclusive to all the same territories, and the one going to win the bid will be the one that has the lowest offer, right? Because the buyer's going to want to make more money through your movie, so they're going to give sale buy for less money. Your sales agent had to bid against each other to win the bid. And at the end, you're losing money because in case instead of getting the movie out for $5,000, you get it out there for $3,000. So you're losing money out of that. So at the end, nobody wins. So that's the reason why lots of sales agents or distributors, they only want to do a exclusive agreement. Now, exclusive agreement all depends on how you negotiate with them. So we can talk about it shortly after this. Hopefully that answers your question, Vicky. So there's like I mentioned earlier, there's like 3 different types. All media-wise, you have 3 different types of traditional distribution: theatrical, broadcast, cable, home video, and that is in the new media. Is the next slide. We're going to get through that. Slide number 7. It's more complicated because now we're in the world of digital distribution. So the new media is it's all video on demand based, but there's a different version. There's called the over the top. So basically being they directly send to the distributor directly to you through the internet, and that kind of like the overall everything. So because everything can be passed through the internet. The SVOD is called the subscription based video on demand. So basically being like Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Hulu, Apple, HBO, Disney Plus, they're all subscription based because you pay a monthly fee to sign up, and then you can watch whatever you want in there. There's also called the TV or transactional voice video on demand. So it's almost like a pay-per-view. You pay the content that you want to watch. One of the very good example could be YouTube or Vimeo Pro, where you self-distribution. You tell people to buy your movie per the view that you want, for to watch your movie. Advertising-based VOD, just like regular YouTube, like when we have advertisement in the beginning and middle of point, or like all these free apps like CBS, CW, and all the different apps you watch online that you watch the show and then suddenly there's a commercial in the middle, and so on and so on and so on. Greg James has a question: do the sales agent or buyers from other countries care if you shot your movie union or not union? They don't care. They really don't care about that. They care more about the format and whether or not there's a celebrity involved. They really don't care about whether it's union or non-union shot. For them, it doesn't make any difference because as long as they don't care about how you make the movie, but they only care about the result of your movie. If your result of your movie is more catered to their interest, they'll buy it. I'm saying the word cater because some buyers of territories will be interested only in action films. So if your movie is all action based, even though you don't have any celebrity involved, but it's all action based, and even though it's a really, really bad story, they'll buy it because it's action based. So one thing that usually all the buyers will do, this is how they do it. They get to a film market and then they look at this whole bunch of trailers and they say, I'm interested in this movie. I'm interested in this movie. So your buyer, sales agent, your sales agent distributor send the movie screener to them. What they do is they fast forward until the section where there's interesting section. Then they watch it and they fast forward again. They don't have time to sit there for 2 hours to watch every movie. They only have time for maybe half an hour to watch each feature film. So if that, you have to keep that in mind in the back of your mind, to understanding that the reason why that happens, so why certain genre sells quicker than other genres. And obviously, when there's a celebrity involved, then we do it. They actually fast forward when the celebrity is on screen, They say, oh no, we see him doing something, and see how many times that person is on screen. So back to the type of distribution on new media. The advertising base is the one we talked about earlier, like CBS, YouTube does that. Like right now, you watching my YouTube broadcast. Later on, they'll have commercial at the beginning, at the end. So that will be something that subscription based. Pay-per-view is similar to transactional video on demand. So basically, DirecTV, Spectrum, they have those pay-per-view channels. You pay to watch certain programming. So that's that. Oops. And then you have the electronic sell-through. So that's basically the media distribution, whereas consumer pay a one-time fee to download a media file for storage on the hard drive. So I can try to remember. Apple have that. Apple, when you can buy a movie, used to. Apple iTunes, where you buy a movie, then you download to your computer, and then you can watch it. I think certain distributors does that too. Wolfie does that too on their website. They sell a lot of GBLT films, and what they do is you buy the movie, you can download it, and you can watch it for 48 hours and a week, and then the movie's gone. So that kind of offer is available. And then you also have the in-flight entertainment or cruise ship entertainment, so where people can actually pay to watch it in the airline and on the cruise ship. So I'm jumping the gun earlier about how distribution works, so I'm going to go into that. There's a whole list of how this new media buyers buy your films. In the past, we're talking about in 1998, it was easier to go to Netflix website and submit your film for consideration. You can't do that anymore. Now you have to use, like what everybody else, they actually go through an aggregator, or they actually go to a sales agent, a distributor, to review a movie and buy your movie. So that's basically speaking. Red Dragon Wayne asked a question: for twist and surprise films, trailer give too much away, show best scenes to get buyers, but too much spoiler. So how to best trailer to not to give too much? Unfortunately, there's no way. There's one called what we call in sales distribution arena is called the production trailer or distribution trailers. So basically, in the past, this is like 5-6 years ago, when you make a Hollywood film, they also usually have 2 or 3 different types of trailer. One trailer for the general public with kind of storyline. One trailer with all the bell and whistles, all the explosion, all the action stuff only, and that's why they call it distribution trailers. Those are the trailers they watch it, they do it, they sell it they take it to distributors. So when, yes, you kind of have to give your best of the best on your best trailer to get it out there for the buyers and sellers and distributors to be interested on. They don't care about the story. They want to see what's best of it. And that's a little bit different from the real life. I mean, that's the reason why you make different trailers. You want a trailer for the general public to look at, maybe have a story to follow and not to give too much. And then you have a trailer that only for the buyers and distributors to say, this is the one that I want to pick up for distributions. So you have to juggle between those two. So the next slide, I'm kind of talk about this a little bit earlier. So the distributors, they do is they reach out to they schedule each movie to a certain type of distribution. So they have a schedule of how to release it. So the first thing they usually do is they reach out to all the largest buyers and territories, such as Lionsgate, TF1, Universal UK, Netflix, to see whether they're interested in the movie. That again, depending on the genre, depending on the interest, and how your movie is built. So if these buyers, larger buyers, they're not interested in at all, or they haven't decided, the second phase of distribution, what they would do is take it to different film markets, like the American film market, Cannes film market, Hong Kong film market, European film markets, NAPI, and etc. So there's a lot of those film markets that buyer or sales agent go to and try to sell your movies. Now, distributor, however, also plan release for of your movie through TVOD, DVD, SOD, or subscription-based video on demand. The DVD actually also included Blu-ray. For example, sales agent probably will not do that release because they had to go to distributors to release them on DVD or video on demand. But a distributor who actually take care of that, or rather a sales agent who now become a distributor, they can actually release that in that schedule. They don't want to release them too soon because they want to have a chance for the buyers to be able to market your movie in their territories. So usually all the video demand distribution part of the schedule is going to be 6 to 7 months later on, depending on how fast and how interested people are with the movie, because they don't want to lose the chance to sell it to more territory. The more territories it gets sold, the more money it makes. With video demands through distributor or buyers, the money is there, but it's not going to be a lot if you go through a sales agent. If you sell distributed, you sell to internet, you had a more chance to make more money in that sense. I'll explain that a little bit later. I think there's a part about that I'll talk about. So I already mentioned earlier that how to get into new media. You need to go through new media, basically anything with video demand or digital distribution, through a aggregator or distributors or sales agent. It used to be easy to do. And then also I have a sales agent that I used to work with a lot, a good friend of mine. I like him a lot because he's a sales agent. He's not a distributor. He's smaller for his smaller organization business, but you actually see your money in return. And I can explain that later on why, how to understand how the distribution agreement works, and that's going to give you some understanding. And Wonderfield Entertainment is the company. So, you want to jot down his information and check him out. That'd be great. If not, no big deal. It's just going to be there for reference. I don't get any kickback out of this, by the way. I just happen to be a friend of his, and I just talked to him a couple of days ago and asking about the market right now we have. Right now, because of the pandemic, and you would think that buyers are looking for movies to be able to show on TV and so on because there's no more content being made. It is not so. Unfortunately, right now, because everything is on hold, the buyers are also holding up their money because they don't know what's going on later, so they're not buying anything at this point. And we just read an article recently about Hollywood is going to be start production again in September, which means that some people think about maybe that's a chance for us to sell a movie in there. It's not so at this point. At his point of view, he do not see anybody being, not a lot of buyers are buying any movie at this point due to the pandemic we have right now. So things might change. It changes every week, so you never knows. But I do remember back in January when I talked to him, he did tell me that documentaries were a big hot sale at that moment. So it all changes fairly quickly. So let's see, did I talk about this already? I'm putting my slides all over the places. So Greg got a question up for me. In today's film world, big name actors is more of a gray area. It seems having a name in your movie is so important anymore. What standard are they using to rank the actors? IMDb, probably. Yeah, IMDb correctly. It's the way they actually do it. Even though most of us don't consider IMDb to be too legit, because a lot of people can put whatever they want in there nowadays. Buyers, territories, buyers, sales agent, distributor, they still go to IMDb and make sure everything's correct. And certain name actor, when people recognize their faces, they don't need to worry about the name. Are sellable. I'll give you a very good example. Steven Seagal would be a very good example. He may be a nobody nowadays in the United States, but he is big in Asia. Anything with him coming out in Asia, it gets so quickly that it's ridiculous. And of course, he need to make the money, so he's making lots of Steven Seagal B-rated type or low-budget movies all over Asia. I saw a movie, an action film, just only have him out for maybe 5 minutes total, the whole feature, and it was sold and distributed fairly quickly too. So it's really not about the name, it's more about whether or not they recognize the face. The more the person recognizes the face, the quicker they get into a distribution plan deal. Netflix, for example, if you have your movie made and you have 3 or 4 celebrity or people that they can recognize the actor's name, mostly they were getting their Netflix, and it's just gonna go in there fairly quickly, just because they recognize a person, not because of their name. Sometimes the names go with value, sometimes they don't. Ryan Felipe, I haven't done anything recently. He might be a good one. Kevin Bacon, Michael Bacon. Well, Michael Bacon is not an actor; he's a singer. For example, there are all the different people that are very big in the United States, but still have a following in different countries. So those are good opportunity to tap into them and ask them to be part of it. So when you get a sales agent or a distributor to send you an agreement, there's a couple things you want to pay attention to. First is if you have an attorney friend that happen to be your friend who's happen to be an attorney, reach out to them, ask them for help, and they will review that for you and then give you all the clause. I have a friend of mine who's a very good attorney, entertainment attorney friend of mine, who has been with me since 1998. A very good friend. We help each other out. It's pro bono based for each other, so we don't charge each other money for work. We do for helping each other out. And she always review my agreement we have with all the distributors, and she will highlight this and that. And then she said to me, clause 1 and clause 50, they cancel each other out. And I would laugh because it's kind of funny how sometimes you have a distributor who is supposed to have great paperwork and understand what's going on and give you all this good plan agreement for you to sign. But there's another problem. Those agreements are usually on their favor, so not on your favor, because you are independent filmmakers. And remember what I just said earlier, they're using your movie to make money. So the more money they can make, the better for them to have a business running. So they can have 20 people to run in their business. And while you are the independent filmmaker, you got yourself and then your distributors, your investors and your cast and crew to worry about. So it's, you're the bottom of the food chain, basically speaking. So consider having an attorney to help you out. This is a very important thing. And if you don't have an attorney, reread the agreement as much you can, as many times you can. If you only read it one time, you think you got it right, not so. It will take a lot more than just one time to read it. And then you have to check out the terms. There's 1 year term to 15 years term. Yes, depending on how good your movie is, if they think they can capitalize from your movie because they like your movie so much, they usually will give you a longer term because they want to make more money off you. It doesn't mean that you will make money, but they are making money off you. So you got to think about that, and then you can negotiate with them. You can agree or not agree with them, and you can decide whether or not you want to sign with them or not. But then again, it's just up to you to figure out how you want to negotiate and work it out with them. So the other thing about you need to worry about it is in the agreement is understanding the additional costs associated with. So remember, they had to deduct a distribution fee because they are distributing your movie. They had to deduct a marketing or distribution expense. The max they do set it up as a max cap. So they usually cap between $10,000 to $20,000. I've seen in the past from already defunct distributor that have capped for $50,000. And I've heard from other people that there's also other distributor capping off $75,000. So how does work? So when they get your movie and they say they're going to carry on and you sign agreement with them, they'll require you to send the movie in per their specification. For example, they'll say to you, you need to add my opening video logo in beginning of your trailer and submit that in, or send your movie with my logo, opening logo at the beginning of your movie and send it in. That's a little tiny thing that if you forget to do, they charge you $5,000 or more. They say that they had to add that into your opening video to sell it. So now there's $5,000 deduction. Think about that, all right? So next thing to do, they said to you, well, we feel like your trailer doesn't work as the way that we can sell your movie. So we need to re-edit your movie. They're probably not going to tell you that. They're just going to do it because it's part of the agreement that they can do whatever they want to do with your film. Re-edit the trailer, re-edit the movie if they need to, but I don't think they would ever do that part of it. So they will re-edit your trailer and they put a cap of that. They spend another $5,000 in re-editing your trailer. So that's $10,000 away. That's not that. That's not all. So you made a poster that you think is a perfect poster. You make a really, really great poster. But unfortunately, the sales agent or the distributor say, we don't like your poster. This is horrible for us to sell it. We need to redo a new poster for you. Guess what? Another $5,000 gone. So now you have $15,000 spent on that, right? So this is expense. And think about how much money you already spent making your movie. Let's say you make your movie for $50,000. So then you have $15,000 of expenses from the distributor that can be topping there. So total amount that you're going to be spending is what? $65,000 gone already, right? So a buyer and distributor, they buy your movie for $50,000. You still owe $15,000 from the distributor because they make all this changes for you. So they're gonna keep deducting. So every time they go out there and sell your movie, they're gonna find some way to deduct something out of it. So eventually, you probably don't see your money coming into your pocket until maybe a year later. That always happens a lot, and that's not. You don't have to spend money, correct, Alex? You make your own poster, but if you have a distributor or sales agent representing you, they will have to decide whether or not your marketing material, your poster is correct for them. If it doesn't work for them, they're going to redo everything and they're going to charge you money for that. You don't pay it, but they will deduct it out for the total amount of money that they bring in. So you got to keep that away and think about. So the quickest way to see a return of investment is either make your movie really, really low budget and expect all the changes and then think about how to negotiate with that. So Terry asked, seeing the poster redesign done to a producer, they put tanks and SWAT teams on the poster and they didn't even appear in the movie. Correct. So that's a good example of another movie called Fighting the Sky. A friend of mine, Conrad, did this movie. His original poster was completely changed to a spaceship, a fighter jets all over the places. And that movie, that poster design was charged a certain amount of money. I know it was charged because Conrad was nice enough to show me the report and was deducted out from his total payment that he was supposed to receive. So for the current almost a year now, quarter, that he haven't yet seen any return of investment. And that's going to happen to a lot of people. So this is nothing you'll be surprised. It's something that we already accepting that to be a normal. Now you could be able to negotiate with them to say that I only want to have a deal with them for a year. This is going to come back to you. They're going to say to you, I'm sorry, I can do this for a year because I can stop getting your name out there for a year. It will take us about 3 to 4 months, maybe 6 months to prepare your movie for distribution, and then another 6 months to sell it. There's no way I can make it the money you want. They're going to tell you that because they said it to me a few times. So you got to decide whether or not you want to sign up with this distributor or you go someone else. Now, the reason why I talked about Phil Gorn earlier, because he is a friend of mine who I deal with back in 2007, and he's been representing almost all my films except for the last one because I want to try to find different distributors to test the water to see how that works. So Phil Gorn, he signed a contract with me for I think it's a yearly base, renewable every year. The cap was $10,000, and every time he sells a territory, I see 50% of the money back right away. That means when Thailand buy for $800, I see $400. When China buy for $2,000, I see $1,000. What he does is that he will continue that process until the maximum cap is met, and it'll become 25-75, where I get 75%, he got 25% of the distribution deal. So that's what deal I have with him. That doesn't mean that there will be the same deal with you, but that's the deal I had with him. And yes, I did make my money back from my first feature film. It was sold worldwide to over 10 different territories, and that was something that I went with. Oh, Nick got a very good question. So Phil Gorn might be somebody you want to consider. If you want to have something to push it out there, and if you want to have your movie out there just because you want to have your movie all over the places but not worry about the money coming in, then you can go any deal you want to. It really doesn't matter. Nick said, how often will your main actors to put on the poster? How often does the star power impact the poster? Well, if your main actors are nobody who anybody knows, it's useless to be on the poster, because the sales agent or the distributor looking at your poster, the first thing they ask is, who are these people? If they don't know these people, it's useless. The key is to try to find a poster that connect with the audience, the general public. Your poster may connect to your friends or families, but not connecting to the audience. So it's a very different story. Inner Self is one of my feature films that was released 2018. I got distribution deals a few places, represented by Phil Gordon. It's a very hard-sold movie. It's a martial art comedy musical. So when Phil Gordon got it, they redesigned the poster and changed it completely to become like some guy in the middle meditating, fire in the background, and then a tempo at the top, and then some guy looked like Bruce Lee, crouching down, fighting pose. So check it out. Inner Self is on Amazon Prime. You check out the poster there, and that is not my original poster. My original poster is on my website. You can check that out too. So they had to redo that because my poster did not sell, and they had to redo the poster to make it sell. So things like that gonna happen a lot, and you can argue as much as you want, but if they're gonna try to spend money out of your pocket, they will do their best to try to give you less money. So that's something to think about. The other part of the agreement that always get into everybody's way is very important to understand is the word cross-collateralization. Wow, that's a hard word to pronounce. That's basically speaking is they can package your movie, a sales agent or a distributor can package your movie with other movie of the similar genre and sell it as a package to a buyer. And when there's expense happening for that package, you are responsible to pay for the cost of that package. The tricky part is this. Let's say one of the movie in that package belongs to the sales agent or the distributor. They can actually have their movie packaged in there too, right? So because they also make movie too. So they actually pay to make their movie. So let's say they have one of the movie that pay someone to make is part of the package. And they sold the movie for $8,000 to a territory. So the territory said that, so the distributor can actually say to you, we are deducting out $3,000 for the package for marketing expenses, this and this and that. What they did is they use your movie, they put, instead of dividing all the movie in the package percentage ways, they basically putting all the majority one into you. So they pay you less money, they get more money. I hope I make it clear. So basically in their movie do not have to pay for expenses, but yet they put the part of the deal into you. So instead of cutting the pie into 5 pieces, they're cutting the pie into 4 pieces. So they're making 2 pieces of food out of that. So that's probably the best way to do it. So that's a word that you need to pay attention to on all agreements. My recommendation, and a lot of people will say the same thing, is if you can tell them to take that out of there, you can. But if you don't think that's a major issue and you think that you still want to be able to push it out there, you want to have people see what you do, then don't worry about it, and then don't worry about it. And that's in every agreement I have received from everybody that I know of who I requested the agreement to take a look at them, for every distributors that I have seen that have always had that in there. So that's something you need to pay attention to. I think I am the last slide now. I know there's a lot I'm putting in there, so sorry guys, I wasn't very clear. But if you have any question, just post it out there so I can read and respond. Here's some resources for you guys. Phil Gordon, if you want to go check out their website, his website is there. There's a lot of films. He represents all type of genre. Oh, that's something to think about. If you are selling your movie, if your movie is horror-based genre, you try to get a distributor that specializes in horror films. It's better that way than specializing in all type of genres, just because the market, they can concentrate the market and sell yours better in that perspective. So that's something you have to think about, which I forgot to mention. The other link there is a Filmmakers magazine. It's an old article, but it's a very good article that you can read it. It's about what I'm talking about, agreements on how to pick out the right distributor sales agent. And the last one is about the financing part of distribution deal, generalizing a listing of different genres, which genre is the most popular and got sold quicker. I think that's it. I managed to get everything done within an hour, which is a surprise. I wasn't expecting that, but I did. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to wait a couple minutes. If you have a question, type it in right now. I can answer. I'll be happy to answer. No, that's copyrighted. Well, guess there's no question. Oh, there is one. Thanks, Wayne. So if a film grows $100 on average, how does the $100 get split up? Distributor, interior? No, actually, distributor, when they sell it to the territory make all the money. So they make the territory buy the movie rights for a couple of years, so they can do whatever they want to do. This way, so if the movie grows $100 because a buyer bought it from you, the $100 will be split between the distributor and you. But the distributor will deduct all the marketing costs, everything else, before they can actually give you the money. Hey, Vicky, do you have the best sales agent distributor to work with? That's a very good question. I do not have a best one. I think currently the best agent right now is the one Phil Gorn that you can look at right now. There's another one. I didn't talk to her to see whether or not I'm okay to list her name on there. She's with the Inferno Production. Darlene is her first name. She's on Facebook. Casper is her last name. Crespo, P-O-P-E-R. But I'll try to find out the information and post that later on the comment here in this YouTube to see whether she'll be interested. She's also used to be a sales agent, but now becoming a distributor. She's an attorney, and she will fight for the money for you. And she's another one that actually you will see your money return right away. So that's pretty cool. And thank you everybody else, Terry, Reba, Vince, DC Boy Production, Alex, Tyler, for you guys listening. And see you soon. Bye, guys.